What I just played was a 12-bar blues. I think you already know that. And where I got the lines is what I'd like to tell you right now. At first, I was focusing on this tutorial to hit sort of an intermediate beginner audience. And so I was composing the lines that I thought would be easy to digest, and they sounded miserable. So then I just said, well, I'm going to play in simple terms and just improvise. And it sounded much better. It was more melodic, and I liked it much better. And that's how I came up with the lines. Now, how to practice these lines? Well, you can go through and try to learn the whole blues progression, which I feel would probably be a challenge for most bass players. And what I would recommend is take it measure by measure. That's the first line. What is it? If you look at this line as a one-bar phrase and forget about the blues progression, you can get a lot out of it. And that's the whole idea of this. If you learn this blues progression, you can take any of these lines on a 7th chord and use them wherever there is a 7th chord if you want to get a creative line happening. On to the second measure, which will be a B flat 7, the 4 chord, and we're going to once again start on the 3rd. We're starting on the upbeat of the second measure, and on a B flat sliding down to the A, which is the 3rd of the F7. And we land on an A, which is a half step below the B flat, which is our next target. We're on to measure 5 with a B flat 7, and we're using simply the arpeggiated notes from the B flat 7th. And we're playing a 5th, a flat 7, a root, and then an approach to the 3rd. An F7th chord, and it starts on the 3rd to the root, and then it goes back to the 3rd to a double chromatic approach going from the root to the flat 7. And then we go to measure 8. Now measure 8 is a little more involved, and it kind of has a extended line. Goes like this. And what it does is go from the flat 7 to the root, back to the flat 7 to the 5th, and then it goes flat 7 to 1, 3 to 5. First part, second part, put it all together nice and quick. A C7th to a B flat 7th, I'll play the C7th first. I'd like to point out the C is tied from the last 8th note of the previous measure. That's the first measure, C7th. And then it goes to B flat 7th. I'll play them both together. One more time slow. Now we're on to the last two measures, measure 11 and 12, and that would be the 1 chord, F7th, to the 5 chord, C7th. I'm going to play both measures together, and then I'll break it down and play them separately and explain and talk about them a little bit. play it a little slower. We're playing the root, the third, chromatic approach going back to the third, the root, the flat 7, and the 5. Then on the C7, we're starting here on the 5th of the C7th, which is the G, and playing the 5, the 7, and the 3. Only 3 notes. That concludes this video. I hope you got something out of it. As usual, you can download all the notes, tabs, and play-alongs on my Patreon page. I'd like to remind you, I'm giving private lessons online. I will leave a link to my website where you can get further information on that. Also, please subscribe, hit the bell to be notified, comment, and drop by again. We'll play some more bass for sure.